Have you ever stopped to think that the way you chat with your doctor might actually mess up the care you're getting? A lot of folks in their later years run into this without even knowing it. The simple stuff, like how you phrase things during a checkup, can really shift things one way or the other. I'm not getting into all the technical jargon or memorizing your whole medical backstory. No, it's those little day-to-day chatting habits that can sneakily trip you up. The real deal is the words you pick, the vibe you give off, and how you lay out your worries. They all play into how good your treatment turns out. And get this, what most people miss, docs can only go off what you hand them. If your story's fuzzy, missing bits, or roundabout, even a top-notch doctor might skip over something crucial. This isn't about pointing fingers or feeling like you've screwed up. Plenty of older folks just fall into these patterns without a second thought. A bunch stem from a whole life of being courteous, hating to gripe, or figuring some aches are just what comes with the years. But when your well-being's on the line, those tiny talk quirks can lead to some hefty fallout. You could end up overlooking treatments, putting off a key diagnosis, or heading home without really grasping what to do next. In this video, we're diving into 5 harsh realities about how some seniors chat at the doctors, and yeah, things you might be doing on autopilot that could quietly hurt your health. We'll break down what these slip-ups look like, where they come from, and smarter ways to handle it so you get heard, valued, and properly looked after. Hang in there till the finish, because the final one's a trap even the sharpest, most on-it patients tumble into, and nailing it could flip every doc visit from here on out. Number 1. Brushing aside or toning down your symptoms. One slip-up I see a ton with folks over 65 at the docs is waving off their issues or making them sound way milder than they are. It could come out as, "Oh, it's no big deal, just a twinge here and there," or, "I hate to bother you with this." You figure you're being nice or saving their time, but truthfully, you're throwing a wrench in their ability to step in and help. Physicians count on the nitty-gritty you share to map out the real picture. If you skip details or shrink it down, it's like handing over a jigsaw with half the pieces gone and hoping they spot the scene anyway. For lots of retirees, this stems from decades of putting family first, toughing it out, or dodging the whiner label. I've chatted with buddies in their 70s who put up with nagging pain for ages because they didn't want to pester the doc. But listen, that minor twinge might flag something that's a breeze to fix early on. Drag your feet or clam up, and boom, the odds spike that it turns into a bigger headache. I recall my neighbor, Evelyn, who was 76 back then. She'd had this nagging pressure in her upper back for a couple months, but chalked it up to age catching up. She tossed it out casually at a standard physical, and that's when the doc perked up, thinking it could tie to her circulation. Tests showed a blockage that needed quick action. She said afterward, if she'd stayed mum or played it down more, things could have gone south fast. Her tale drives home that what seems trivial to you might scream urgent to someone with the training. The smart move? Lay out your symptoms straight up. No sugarcoating to downplay them. If the discomfort's lingered 2 months, say 2 months. If it's messing with your sleep, spell out the frequency. If it's cramping your routine, own up to it. That's not whining, it's arming your doc with what they need to shine. You're not chasing pity, you're dropping facts so they can keep you ticking strong and on your own. Open up like that, and you're grabbing the reins on your health in a solid, smart way. A decent doc'll thank you for the straight talk and steer your care right. Hey, that slot's yours, don't squander it by burying how you truly feel. Number 2. Using fuzzy or roundabout language. Another snag that trips up plenty during health check-ins is tossing out broad strokes instead of sharp, spot-on facts. Lots of seniors might say, "I'm just not myself," or "it aches sometimes," without pinning down the when, where, or how. Sure, it clicks in your head, but it leaves the doc playing detective, and in medicine, hunches can backfire big time. The hazier your chat, the tougher it is to nail the root, which could drag out figuring it out or send treatment off track. Why does this crop up? Often, we don't jot symptoms as they hit, so by appointment day, it's all a blur, and you spit out a vague summary. Or it's just how we talk daily. Loose words work fine with pals or kin. But docs crave the details. How long's it been going? What sets it off? How bad does it ramp up? And what eases or amps it? Skip that, and they're squinting at shadows. Makes me think of my pal George, 79 these days. He told his doc he felt run down recently. Period. The doc probed a bit, but George couldn't recall if it hit post-meals, after errands, or with other weirdness, so they were stuck. A month on, when it tanked, scans caught low iron that could have been sorted pronto. George owned up later, if he'd dialed in specifics from the jump, he'd have dodged that drag. Dodge this by prepping ahead. Note symptoms, start dates, sensations, and triggers. For pain, paint it. Is it stabbing, nagging, hot, or pulsing? Fatigue? Does it slam after lunch, mornings, or just exertion? That depth not only clues in your doc better, but hustles the right checks and fixes. You're not nitpicking or gumming up works. You're linking the chain. It's like sketching a crisp blueprint over a smudged doodle. When stakes are your health, sharp talks your ace. If you're still tuned in and digging these tips, drop number 2 in the comments to say, hey. And if you're not subbed, hit that button. And bell keeps you looped in. Your cheers fuel more stuff like this to spark and share. All right, on we go. Number 3, skipping a jotted list of worries. A huge whiff I spot with older folks at the docs is rolling in sans a scribbled rundown of topics to hit. You might reckon, it'll all come back once I'm there. But nah, once you're in the hot seat, half slips your mind easy. You dive deep on one thing, or the doc's questions pivot the chat. Next thing, time's up, and you're en route home kicking yourself for blanking on a couple key bits. This ain't about memory lapses. It nails everybody, especially if the vibe's hurried or you're pulling facts from thin air. No list means you're gambling with your care. Docs can't read thoughts. If it doesn't surface, it stays buried. I've watched mates exit still stewing on the same gripes they arrived with, just 'cause they never voiced them. Take my buddy Clara. She headed in for her cholesterol meds chat. She'd also battled restless nights and random spins. But post-visit, she realized meds were all they covered. Days later, spins intensified. Turned out linked to her levels, which the doc could have linked sooner if everything aired. That lag zapped her pep, time, and bonus visits. Fix is straightforward. Pre-appointment, grab paper and list every niggle, minor or major. Prioritize them. At the office, pass it over or eyeball it to cover bases. If time's short for all, at least doc knows and can rank urgency. Hitting the doc sans list is like market runs blind. You'll forget essentials. With one, you steer, max the minutes, and guarantee each worry, query, or shift gets its due. Number 4. Figuring the doc's got your full file etched in. A sneaky pitfall for many in their golden years is banking that the doc recalls every nugget from your past checkups. Even with a longtime physician, they're juggling scads of cases daily. They might grasp your big picture health, but not every test score, old complaint, or tweak to your pills. Assume they do, and you might gloss over fresh updates, creating blind spots in care. This bites often. My friend Harold complained of swelling in his legs to his usual doc, assuming they remembered his kidney chats from before, and skipping that he'd swapped diets lately. That shift was pivotal. The diet stirred it up. 'Cause Harold held back, it meant bonus pokes and waits for what could have clicked quick. Charts help, sure, but they're not the full saga. Last notes might miss post-visit happenings, or the file's a tome they can't skim pre-chat. Bet they know the deets, and you risk ditching the puzzle piece they need. Best play. Kick off each visit with a snappy recap. Flag new meds, vitamins, or habits since last. Toss in fresh quirks, even if seemingly off-topic. Something like, post last time, I added this supplement and spotted these shifts. Sets a solid base. View it as updating a close chum. You wouldn't expect him to know your life's turns unsaid. Your doc's your health teammate, but it thrives on full scoops from you. The fuller your input, the quicker they puzzle solve and point you right. If these nuggets are hitting home, comment number 4 below. Not subbed? Do it. And bell up. Keeps the good vibes rolling. Thanks for the boost. It keeps us churning out helpful bits. Let's wrap the list. Number 5. Rambling on without letting the doc steer. Once you're in that room, it hits like your golden window to unload weeks or months of built-up stuff. Plenty of retirees want to max it, so they rewind to the dawn of time, spilling every twinge from yesteryear to now. It's from aiming to cover all bases, but it can swamp the talk, chew the clock, and block the doc from zeroing on today's priorities. Fact is, visits are brief, and docs are pros at herding the chat to snag key info sequentially. Flood them with tangents or extras, and you veer the ship astray without meaning to. Picture a hike where the guide aims for the peak, but you detour for every scenic spot. You might miss the summit. My pal Louise, 74, went for her shoulder stiffness that hampered chores. By the end of her yarn on her sister's back surgery, yard tweaks, and seasonal shifts, time was half gone. They skimmed her shoulder, and she bounced with more puzzles than fixes. Not 'cause the doc blew it off, but slots are tight. Doesn't say clam up on vital stuff. Just let the doc quiz so your replies hit mark. Always tote a tight list of top worries up front. Doc can triage. Plus, start concise. I've got throbbing in my left shoulder post lifts. Then field their digs for depth. This ping-pong keeps urgence front and leaves query space. Chatting tuned and teamed respects their groove and ups your odds for clear paths out. It's not less talk, it's synced talk that flows with, not fights, their style. Wrapping up here, how we gab at the docs molds our care way more than we clock. Our words can unlock clearer chats or brew mix-ups that drag heels. Hitting those later chapters, health stuff weighs heavier, and each sit-down counts big. So honing clear, pointed, respectful talk, gold star habit. No need to morph or script, just mindful with those fleeting minutes. See it as your words linking what you sense to doc's fixes. Sturdy link, smooth team trek. Jammed with extras, crossed wires or gripes. Slog city. Tweaks like listing priorities, yielding the wheel, and straight shooting sans dread. Game changers. I've known elders who loathe visits, feeling sidelined, but shift the chat style, and bam, same folks flip to empowered. Exiting feeling grasped and geared? That's calm that lingers. Next doc face-off. Recall, you're no mere case. You're co-pilot in your health. Your phrasing, tone, and collab vibe? Mighty assets. Wield 'em sharp, and you'll step out with more than notes, with faith, grasp, and brighter horizons. Thanks for hanging out. Spill in comments, one takeaway, and how you'll roll it out. Your shares fire us up big time. If this clicked, like, sub, share fuels more inspo. Catch you next.